What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day, because I know that I am. And if you are having yourselves a fantastic day, then you need to press the like button. And if you press the like button, then you will, no joke, no scam, you'll get a genie from a strange man named Bison, who is going to give you a lamp, and you're going to get 3 wishes. But you have to press the like button, alright? If you don't, you never get your genie. Real talk, though, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today, I have a story about a kid fighting the principal. This is a subscriber story. Somebody sent it in to me, so big shout out to you. You asked me not to mention you because you have your school in your bio, so I'm not going to do that. But real talk, today we're going to be talking about a kid fighting the principal, which is a pretty out there scenario. Like, I feel like out of everyone to fighting the principal might be the worst idea. Like, oh yeah, this one person that could single-handedly expel me from school and ruin my educational career? Yeah, I'm gonna make that guy as mad as humanly possible. I feel like that's the right move. But hey, apparently some kids out there, brain cells only work 1 at a time and they only have 2. But yeah, it should be a fun video. Without further ado, let's get into it. So I go to a private school, meaning that some of the kids that I go to school with are super entitled. Like the type of spoiled where, you know, if you don't have chocolate milk, but that's what they're wanting, they'll basically ask you to go farm cocoa beans with your hands, and you're like, ma'am, this is Cleveland, Ohio. We don't exactly have a ton of cocoa beans around. Like, they're just the type of people that are incredibly entitled and think that the world owes them everything. Like, everybody owes them to make them happy. It's just one of those schools where there's certain people that are like that. And it's not a majority of students. Most kids are pretty normal. Most kids aren't jerks. Most kids don't deserve to get slapped in the face by a meteor hurling at 7,000 miles per hour. But the kids that are spoiled are incredibly spoiled. And one day we were sitting in class, and one of the most spoiled kids who I interact with at school on a daily basis, his name was Richard. And Richard, well, he was the nickname for Richard, okay? If you guys get that joke, that's good for you. And if you don't, I can't say it because Susan's gonna sue me. Anyways, Richard was one of these kids that just constantly had problems. I don't know if this kid just like wanted to be unhappy, okay? Like he woke up every morning and was like, happiness? Nah, I don't need any of that. And like punched the Teletubby baby son in the face every morning. But the guy basically just refused to be happy. Anything good that came into his life, he would complain about. Nothing was ever good enough for him. Like, it was honestly just one of those things where this guy was going out of his way to be miserable as often as possible. And having a class with Richard, who was a spoiled, miserable guy, was super, super difficult because he was just always causing problems. Like, always. Without fail, the guy was always causing a problem, always talking crap about somebody, always causing issues. And one day, they're sitting in their science class, right? They're chilling. They're doing their thing. They're getting their biopsies done, getting some test tubes. I don't really know what you do in biology class. I went to high school in Nevada. We are 51st in education, okay? Let me say that again slowly. I grew up in Nevada. We are 51st in education. There are 50 states. I don't even know how we got 51st, bro. We are so bad at education that we made up another state just to make sure that we were the worst. But whatever, we're in biology class, or they're in biology class, I should say, and Richard is just kind of bickering back and forth with the teacher because apparently Richard thinks that he should be able to mix chemicals without the teacher watching, which is just a really bad idea. I guess they were trying to make some combination of chemicals, and Richard had gone ahead and tried to mix things without the teacher telling them to, which is a big no-no because, call me crazy here, mixing chemicals when people don't tell you what chemicals to mix is probably a really bad idea. I feel like Richard is not as smart as the teacher who has a degree in teaching science, you know? Like, I'm just throwing it out there. And plus, I don't even know why you would want to mix chemicals for fun. Like, what about mixing chemicals makes you, oh, dude, I don't know what it is, but something about mixing ammonium nitrate with citrus just, oh, dude, gets me going. It's pumped, yeah! Like, I don't really know why you would be so eager to be mixing chemicals. So while the teacher was explaining stuff, Richard decided to try to start mixing chemicals on his own. And obviously, that doesn't really fly with the teacher very well. And this just so happens to be the day, too, where the principal was in class observing what was going on in the classroom, right? So, obviously, the teacher wants to look good because their boss is in here, like, looking at them. They don't want to look bad in front of their boss. Nobody does. Like, out of everybody you want to look bad in front of, your boss is probably the last person on the list, out of everybody. Like, let's see, who do I want to look bad in front of the least? Okay. people that are worse to look bad in front of than your boss. Your mom, the Pope, your grandma. But outside of that, like, your boss is probably one of the ones you really don't want to look super, super embarrassingly bad in front of. Like, if you have the choice to look good in front of your boss, you want to do it. So the science teacher looks over and sees Richard trying to mix chemicals on his own, which is a big no-no because, you know, you might blow up the school, no big deal. So the teacher tells Richard, like, dude, stop. Like, stop mixing the chemicals. And Richard, apparently, you know, never hearing the word no before in his life, says, excuse me, are you talking to me? And the teacher's like, yes, stop mixing the chemicals. And he's like, I don't know who you think you are to be talking to me like that. And the teacher says, I'm the teacher, and, you know, you mix chemicals wrong, we all go kaboomy, okay? So how about you just listen? I'd prefer not to end up scattered across the school due to an explosion that you caused. So how about we just don't blow anything up and then we're good? Like, let's just do that. Let's just avoid blowing things up in general. It's just a good idea to avoid making things go boom in the middle of school, which I'm actually a big fan of. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a very politically involved individual, and I do believe that blowing up schools is in fact bad. If you agree with me, comment #don't do it down below. Anyways, Richard's like, I'll do whatever I want. I pay for this school, therefore I'm entitled to the materials, which I'm pretty sure it's not how it works, bro. Like, okay, technically, the money that I pay in taxes goes to the military, but I can't just walk into Area 51 and be like, I pay for this, I get to use it too, beep, beep. Like, that's just not how it works. Yes, you do pay to go to private school. That does not mean that you get to do whatever you want with the chemicals in the science department, Richard, all right? I don't know who told you that. Whoever told you that lied to you. You've been lied to, Richard. Deceived, bamboozled, not told the truth. So after an absurd amount of bamboozlement, Richard is still arguing, and the principal, who's in the room at this point, goes, Richard, that's enough. Your teacher is right. You're not allowed to use the chemicals. Like, the kid was just not letting it go. He kept arguing with the teacher. So the principal, who's here to make sure that nothing bad happens, you know, is observing the class, goes, knock it off. And Richard looks at the principal and goes, oh, shut up. I pay your salary too. Which is a really ballsy thing to say to your principal, like, shut up, idiot. I pay for you too. And the principal goes, excuse me, Richard, you can head to my office. You're going to be calling your parents. And Richard goes, no, you're not going to call my dad. And the principal goes, I am. You don't get to talk to me that way, young man. I am going to call your parents. Like, you're in trouble. Go to the principal's office. And I guess Richard at this point is in fear because what happens next is arguably worse than mixing chemicals without asking in the first place. So Richard starts crying and goes, you can't tell mom. You can't tell mom. And the principal's like, well, you have to stop. You can't keep messing with these chemicals. Like, your teacher told you to stop. And Richard starts screaming at the principal, I own you. I pay your salary. How dare you speak to me this way, all while crying at the thought of someone calling his mommy, which is not a very good way to be intimidating, you know? Like, out of everything in life, I think the least intimidating thing you could ever encounter is a kid crying while saying, I pay your salary. Like, I mean, let's be honest. That arguably is the least effective way to get someone to be intimidated or scared of you, is like crying, okay? So this kid is crying, yelling at the principal, saying, you don't get to tell me what to do because I pay your salary, which is a really bad way to get your principal to back off, right? Like, out of all the ways you could be like, oh no, Mr. Principal, please be nice. Telling him that he's poor and that, you know, you own him probably isn't the best move. So whatever, the principal says, that's it, young man, we're going to my office. And he tries to like grab Richard's arm and like pull him out of the classroom to his office. You know, not in like a, oh, I'm gonna beat you way, but like, here, I grabbed your arm, we're leaving, we're going to my office. And Richard goes, I'm being assaulted, and starts hitting the principal. Like, hitting the principal, trying to fight him, bro. Square up tight beat. And the worst part is the principal is just standing there looking confused because he doesn't even know what's going on. He just has a kid screeching in his ear, I'm being assaulted, and is getting hit, all because he didn't want this kid to mix random chemicals in biology or whatever the heck you do. Like, why are you mixing chemicals in biology? I don't even know. But like, regardless, he's mixing these chemicals in biology. The principal's just trying to do the right thing, and this kid is now like fighting the principal in front of everybody. So everybody is like, oh my God, like, what's going on? So he is swinging on the principal. He's punching the principal in the face repeatedly, but he can't even swing on him good enough with like his little tiny, weak, frail arms, okay? They were basically limp noodles. So he's trying to punch the principal. He's punching the principal. People break them up. They break up the fight, right? And Richard goes, can you guys believe what he just did? And everyone's like, dog, what did you just do? You just tried to fight the principal because he didn't want you to blow up our classroom. And Richard's like, yes, I can't believe so many injustices have been carried out in this classroom today. I will be suing. So the principal principal now is like, okay, we need to go to my office. After the, he just swung on the principal for 30 seconds and he goes, wait, what? We have to go to your office. And the principal's like, yes, now you just tried to fight me. Now you're really in trouble. And Richard goes, I'm not in trouble. And he goes, yes, you are. And Richard decides, well, you know what, at this point, if I'm going to get in trouble for fighting the principal, I might as well do it. Reaches back and once again tries to punch the principal in the face. This time, though, the principal dodges his punch because obviously he's never really fought before. He's a very weak young man. And dodges the punch, grabs Richard's arm, picks him up by his arm with one arm, throws him up like basically to his waist and like grabs his arm around him. So he's carrying almost like a duffel bag at this point and says, that's it, you're done. And starts like carrying him out of the office. But Richard is like screaming and crying and asking his fellow classmates. He's like, help, help. And all the classmates are like, dude, I'm not trying to help you. You kind of did this to yourself, right? So obviously he gets taken to the principal's office and gets reprimanded. And as soon as he leaves, everybody is kind of like, what just happened? And the teacher tries to start the lesson all casually again. She's like, all right, guys, let's get back to the experiment. Obviously, no experimenting is going to be done in a classroom where somebody just tried to fight the principal and just got carried outside of the classroom. Like, obviously, no one's going to be able to work again. So, yeah, Richard tried to fight the principal, got absolutely owned and carried out of the classroom, and the best part is, all that money that he claimed that he was giving to the school didn't matter, because he got expelled, and now he doesn't go there anymore. So, realistically, if you say that you own your teacher and that they have to take care of you, they'll just expel you, and then you don't own anyone, but the deep sadness that you feel when you realize that your entire personality is made up of the fact that you pay a lot of school a lot of money. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. Today's notification shout out goes to CR Wavy. Big shout out to you for having on notifications. If you want a notification shout out, take a screenshot, send it to my Instagram at Scrubby, my Twitter at Scrubby_69. And buy Sorry Karen merch because I'm taking it down soon, okay? I'm going to be adding new merch soon, so you might want to cop that before I take it down. And on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. Have yourselves a beautiful day. And remember, Kyle is in fact friend zoned.